Or does it go out to?
And trust.
I put it on the library's YouTube channel, so we can. Well, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm not going to say that people can't come in, so the door is open. But thank you for coming today. We're very excited to have Allison Donner Johnson, and Chantel. It's like, I can never say the last name. Krepsik here with Platte Valley Tailwinds. So we're excited to have them share some information with us. And I just wanted to let you know two things, because one of them did not get into the newsletter. This Saturday at 10 o'clock, if you are a gardener, we are having David Lott come from North Platte. He's an extension agent, and he's going to be talking about gardening in extreme weather. So we were just talking about the drought, but that should be really interesting. And then our next community chat will be June 15th at 11 o'clock. And Robert Dyer, who is the CEO of the Cozad Community Health System, is going to be talking all things hospital. So on that note, I'm going to give it over to Allison and Chantel, and they're going to tell us a lot of stuff about what's happening in June.
Thank you all for joining us today. Lori invited us today to give you an update on the event happening in Cozad over Father's Day weekend, June 16th through the 18th, Platte Valley Tailwinds. As we're kind of getting up to, about 4 weeks out from the event, solidifying part of our schedule and adding things to this 3-day event. So I just wanted to first and foremost let everybody know that we do have a website created for the event. It's called plattevalleytailwinds.com, as well as a Facebook page, Platte Valley Tailwinds, and there is an event also created within Facebook. And so we really encourage everybody to look at the website, the Facebook page, and try to RSVP on the event if you think you're interested in coming. The website will be, there's a couple things that have not yet been updated that we've added to the website. So keep an eye on the website as the event gets closer. More pertinent information will be provided on the website and the Facebook page. As far as communication, if anybody had any questions regarding the event, they can feel free to call the Cozad Airport. That phone number is 308-784-3868. And so just getting into this schedule, the 3-day event, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll start with Friday, starts at 5:30. We're having a social hour where all the public is invited. It's completely open to the public. We have a car cruise night. So we've invited anybody that's doesn't even necessarily have to be a classic car, can come out to the airport. We're having the social hour starting at 5:30, steak dinner, cookout, live music from the band Sweetwater will be joining us Friday night with music from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And then our opening balloon blow at dusk on Friday night. So all the parking will be at the airport on Friday. As far as the car cruise night, we're asking anybody that's actually interested in participating in the cruise night. There will be a map of the cruise night published in the newspaper. Anybody that wants to participate in the cruise night, we're asking them to show up to line up at the Cozad Airport by 6:45 on Friday the 16th. And then they'll do the 2 laps of the cruise night in, back out at the airport, and then just continue the evening on with socializing and music. And then as soon as, the sun starts going down, we'll have a night, hopefully, weather permitting, we have a balloon blow. Oh, yes, they are. The cruise night is also going to stop go by the nursing homes. So Saturday is kind of our main event for the weekend. There is general admission fee, $8 for adults, 12 and over, and then I think 5 and over, and then 5 and under is free. I think I said that wrong. $8 for adults, $5 for children under 18. 5 and under is free. Saturday, we have a full day packed. We have, we're opening up all the community hangars at the Cozad Airport for vendors. We have some exhibitors, retail, and craft vendors coming in, food truck. We'll have a beer and wine garden, the car show. Also, on Saturday, an airplane flying. We've already had a lot of interest in a lot of people flying in. The other new information that we added to the event is we've invited Great American Kites to come to Cozad. There are, if you haven't seen them, I had never heard them before, but if you haven't seen them, you look them up on Facebook. It's called Great American Kites, and it's a husband and wife, and they have these gigantic kites the size of buildings, and they tether them together and they fly them, and they swap them out with different, they've got unicorns and tigers, and they're like, I mean, they're larger than life size. They swap them out, and they also have a vendor, they'll have a vendor booth as well, so kids can actually come and they can buy their own smaller kites. So that's, we're kind of, as far as the schedule for the Great American Kites, it's really gonna kind of depend on whether Saturday or Sunday is best fit for the weather. So obviously we're hoping for no wind for the hot air balloons, but we do need to have wind for the kites. So we feel like we have both sides covered. So kind of, again, just keep, that information will be released probably much closer to the day of the event. And so we have lots of kids activities. There'll be live music. We have 2 bands playing on Saturday, the Kyle Kilgore Band and the Platinum Pearls will be closing the evening before the Saturday night balloon glow. And then Sunday, same thing, cars can drive in, the airplane flying, we're offering the champagne brunch, Father's Day champagne brunch. It doesn't have to necessarily be celebrating Father's Day. It's a family-friendly menu, and that will be catered by the Bistro in Cozad, so that's very exciting. So we'll be releasing that menu, and the pricing for that will also be on our website, probably closer to the end of the month, in another week or so. So as far as pricing for the champagne brunch, that's kind of wraps up the biggest details. So, car show, airplane flying, Great American Kites, the hot air balloons. So I did want to touch on, there has been some questions asking as far as if there are balloon rides that are going to be offered. So there will not be any balloon rides for sale at this event. The blue pilots that are coming, right now there's only one that's a commercial pilot, and you have to have a commercial license to be financially compensated for a balloon ride. But the balloons are going to show up on Thursday, and they're really looking forward to just touring around Dawson County and doing a free flight. So we've established some landing and launch sites for them, so that people around town will be able to see them launching in the mornings and doing the balloon glow in the evening. And then they'll be joining us all day on Saturday, or Friday and Saturdays, and Sunday for all the other activities. So what didn't I touch on?
You got a question.
A couple of, like I said.
Ann has a question.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Since you're on rides, I wondered why you weren't going to give rides, and the fact there's only one commercial guy makes sense to me now. But can they not do tethered rides?
So the tether rides, they are considering doing the tethered rides, but they can't keep the one balloon tethered for a long period of time. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So-
they're just up and down, right?
Yeah.
Just to get the experience.
So we're really just kind of leaving that up to them, and that'll be weather permitting. So they are considering doing that.
Okay, because I think that would be a draw.
Yeah.
They might do things that go even up and down.
Yeah, I've had people ask me that too.
I have a lot of questions for you. I was sitting down writing this out. Okay, your social hour on Friday night. Is there a cost for the dinner, and how do people sign up for the dinner? Are there reservations for the dinner?
Yes, so those tickets, The Band Factory will actually be our bartender at Friday night at the airport. And it'll be a cash bar. As far as the steak dinner, the tickets are $25 and they can be purchased the day of. We would like to encourage you to purchase them earlier.
If you want to purchase them earlier, who do you buy them?
If you want to purchase them earlier, they're available for sale at the Cozad Airport and also on the website.
The car cruise, you said to line up by 6:45, but is there a sign up for the car cruise or the car show? And same thing, where do you find that?
So Friday night is the cruise night and there's no formal sign up. There was on the car registration form, there was a sign up for the early registration. If you were interested in coming on Friday, mark the box so we kind of have an idea of, how many, we'll have plenty of food for everybody. We encourage the registration of the car show, which is Saturday. There is no registration for the Friday night cruise night. It's just kind of an open, if people want to come, like I said, we just ask that they show up by 6:45. The plan is the leader of the cruise night will plan to depart around 7.
Okay, and then the balloon glow, is there a balloon glow Friday night and Saturday night?
There is a balloon glow Friday night and Saturday night.
And can you talk about what a balloon glow is?
I'll let you touch on that.
What a balloon glow is they go and it's tethered balloons, they're tethered down to the ground and they light them up. Weather permitting, if it's not, if they can, they will float, but usually they're always tethered to the ground. You can walk by the balloons, they light them up. It's just totally gorgeous at night to see the hot air, and the light of the flame. And you can walk up and you can see, and you can actually feel the heat. And it's just something to sit back and look at and fall in love with them.
So I know you said there was general admission on Saturday. Is there general admission on Friday?
There's no admission on Friday or Sunday.
Okay, so if somebody wanted to come to the balloon glow Friday night, they can just walk on it. Saturday night, they would have to pay general admission.
Correct. That's because there's just so many other activities going on Saturday with the music and kid activities. So
Now, if they do a free flight, is there any place that the community can come and watch them fill their balloons up and take off or land?
So the main launching site will be coordinated from the airport. There has to be a designated area where they're actually refueled for safety reasons. And if for whatever reason they're unable to launch from the airport, there's a couple other off-site locations, and we'll probably publish those locations as it gets closer to the event. But they'll all of the landing and launch sites, they have asked to be within like a 3-mile radius of the airport.
And then times. I know you said social hour starts at 5:30 on Friday, but what are the times on Saturday?
So the times on Saturday, the gates open at 10 a.m. and there's off-site parking, which is going to be for the general public. If you are a vendor or volunteer, those parking passes will be given to those people for on-site parking at the airport. The general admission parking is going to be on the airport property lot, which is on the corner of O Street and 24th across from Meadowlark. And then we will be shuttling people over, it's just right down O Street back to the airport. And those shuttles are going to run the whole length of the event. The gates open at 10, so.
And then on Saturday or Sunday, the Great American Kites, you said they're also going to be a vendor, so kids can buy their own kites. Will kids be able to fly their kites on airport property grounds too, or is that just a buy your kite and fly it somewhere else?
So because of the, I want to say like complication, but the coordination, we'll say the coordination between air traffic coming in and out of the airport and the two different runways of the airport, the location and the timing of all the kite flying is going to be planned basically about around the wind speed and wind direction of that day. So as far as the kids being able to fly their kites, they will likely, I guess we haven't really talked about that.
I'm not thinking we probably will.
Yeah, I think that just for the sake of simplifying things and, you know, the kids probably will not be flying the kites, just so we can keep that airspace contained for safety reasons, so.
And then, because Great American Kites are a vendor, do you already have enough vendors, or are you still taking vendor applications?
We have about 7 or 8 open vendor registration areas open.
So same thing, if people are interested in being a vendor, I'm sure you vet them. So would they just need to call the airport?
So all the registration forms are also on the website. And then they can just download the form, fill it out, and the instructions are on the website to email the vendor registration to the Platte Valley Tailwinds at gmail.com. And then the vendor committees, the 2 committee chairs for the vendors is Karen Morris and Stacy Darling. So they're handling the, you know, just to make sure that there's no duplication of vendors, and they'll be assigning those locations for the vendors. So all those forms are also on the website.
The Father's Day brunch, that sounds so yummy. Are you gonna need to make reservations for that?
So we have planned for 150 attendees, is kind of what we've budgeted with the bistro. We have the ability to serve more than that, as far as like the hot griddle, you know, pancakes. They're going to make pancakes and just some kid-friendly things. So it will be, I want to say, open to the public. People could just come in, and we'll serve till food's gone.
I've been involved with your fly-ins before, so that's exciting that the airplanes are going to be coming in too. Are you doing anything with rides for airplanes, or this is just strictly a fly-in?
Nope, it's just strictly flying.
Lots of stuff going on. So besides the brunch, what else is happening on Sunday?
Something that I wanted to mention too is we are allowing camping at the airport, and those, there'll be just a certain amount of allocated camping spots. Tent camping, it's all primitive, so there's no back rooms. You know, we did have an arrangement with our shuttle service that's going to go from the airport to the wellness center. And the wellness center has agreed to allow the guests that are coming in for camping to shower there. So again, we have an allocated number of camping spots out there, and those numbers, all of that, the camping will have to be booked through the website, just because there's only a certain amount of space that we've allocated for the camping. So I wanted to mention that. The other thing I wanted to mention that Chantel brought up was we're really excited to promote like our Saturday, you know, our businesses in Cozad downtown Saturday. So we do have a shuttle service just dedicated to shuttling people from the airport downtown. That drop off will be right in front of the Henry Museum. The Henry Museum is planning to keep their hours. They're going to extend their hours on Saturday so people can go to the Robert Henry Museum. So they'll go to the airport, downtown. The drop off and pickup will be right there by the Henry, across the street in that community parking lot, and then the hotel and then back. So I just wanted to mention that the one thing we haven't got on the website yet is we did want to get the names and the hours, operating hours of the businesses that are open on Saturday, so that we can include that in our information book that'll be at the airport. So thank you, that'd be fun.
So what else is going on Sunday? Sorry.
Sunday. So Sunday is really, I mean, we're just kind of wrapping it up. balloon pilots, they are planning to do a free flight. Their timeline is, if you look at the flyer and even right now on the website, the champagne brunch, the timeline says to be announced. We're trying to coordinate that so that, you know, we want to include the balloon pilots that are going to stick around. You know, we're kind of anticipating 3-day event, that's a long event, you know, so some of these people are coming in on Thursday, Sunday after the brunch, you know, is pretty much wraps up the end of the event. So if it doesn't work out for Great American Kites to fly the kites on Saturday, we are planning to do that Sunday during the Father's Day brunch. And then that's wraps up the activities for Sunday.
And simply because a lot of people go to church. And I know you said it's TBA, but about how long of a window are you gonna do brunch? Like up until noon?
So we wanted to include the balloon pilots, and the balloon pilots, if they do choose to do a free flight, which some of them have talked about doing it, they'll launch around 7, maybe be back by 9. So we're thinking that brunch will probably start and go from like 9 a.m. till noon-ish. That kind of gives you a timeline.
And then, I've heard this story before, but because we didn't get it recorded, what's the importance of balloons in champagne brunches? Go ahead.
When they started doing the balloon flights, if they would crash land on land of the owners, they would give them a bottle of champagne, just kind of giving them, you know, so since we crashed, here you go. It's a gift. And so it's just kind of stuck always champagne and balloon pilots.
So they just give the bottle of champagne as basically like a free will offering to the landlord of the area that they were landing in.
Sorry, I crashed.
Yeah. And crashed, right?
Those were the questions that I had, written down. Did my questions spark any questions from you guys?
You covered
You
covered it. We covered the entertainment, we covered the lodging, so the,
How about volunteers? Do you need volunteers?
Definitely.
Or how can people get involved? Do you need sponsors for anything still?
we still have sponsors, you know, we're always still looking for sponsors. I think that, you know, and as far as vendors go, you know, we'll keep that, as long as we have availability open to vendors, we'll keep that open till the last minute if we can. Sponsors, same thing, you know, some of these, the Great American Kites was something that we thought would just be very, you know, if kind of a great backup in case the weather is windy, which it can be in Nebraska, you know. The reality is that it could be windy and the hot air balloons never fly. So having the kite option was it's eye-catching, it's mesmerizing, it's, you know, it's something that, you know, people of all, you know, ages enjoy.
Are they the large kites that like Callaway has
Yes.
for their kite festival? And then I think I wrote this down correctly, that you are gonna have food trucks on Saturday also?
Yes.
Do you know what food trucks are coming yet?
So the group of volunteers are gonna have a hamburger hot dog stand. Taco Loco is gonna have a food truck out there. The Meridian Tap House is gonna be, they will be a food vendor and the beer and wine vendor on Saturday. So I'm trying to think, I think the Tap House they're doing some sort of like barbecue brisket nachos, maybe a brisket sandwich, I think, and hamburgers and hot dogs. That's it. Is that it? Are we doing pizza?
Yeah, I think we just need to get information for pizza.
Possibly pizza.
And then snow cones.
Yes. I'm trying to think. Rick loves snow. I can't remember the name of his snow cone business, but and then Small Blessings in Gothenburg they'll have a cupcake stand, so they're doing some different things. And then so that's the main, I would say, food vendors.
So if people are watching this at home, or the people who are here, what would you like us to spread the word of?
Mhm. We'd really like you to spread the word. We really, having the public come out on Friday night for the steak dinner is a huge benefit for the funding of our event. And so, and it's our opening night. So having people come out Friday night and then Saturday, the whole family, and I mean, 10 a.m. till we put, 11 p.m. because by the time gates open at 10, if we have the balloon blow, weather allows on Saturday, we start inflating around 9 p.m. We have full darkness somewhere around 10 p.m. So by the time we have the balloon blow and everything kind of, shuts down, and it's going to be 11 p.m. or after. That's a really long day. So,
And the band plays for how long?
So Cal Kilgore Band is going to play in the early afternoon, yeah, he's for 1 to 3-ish, and then the Platinum Pearls will start in the evening and go till we shut down for the balloon blow.
And general admission covers everything,
General admission covers everything.
other than cost of food,
Mhm.
or if you want to buy something. And then, is there any cost for the band Friday night? I know you said that there was no cost, so.
There is no band, or there is no cost for Friday.
For Friday. So,
And
other
then
than the cash
eat
bar.
a steak.
And
Yeah,
eat
sure.
steak, yeah.
Please come have a sip.
Well, it
And
sounds
it's
like you're
volunteers.
doing lots of things. So getting back to the volunteers, how would a group or an individual just get a hold of you? Just call the,
Yeah, so basically all the contacts, we're trying to encourage to go through the email. Platte Valley Tailwinds at gmail.com. Absolutely, we have spaces to have the need for volunteers. And then also they can call the airport, 784-3868.
are you guys gonna have like special t-shirts or anything to buy?
We are gonna have some t-shirts for sale. Those will probably be pre-sold starting the beginning of June. Chantel's working on the graphic design, so.
On the volunteers, have you reached out to school groups and stuff like that? I'm assuming you've been working all along on, because we all know you'll need a lot of volunteers.
Yeah, so Dawn Beans is head of the committee for the school group volunteers.
Mhm.
And she put out a notice to all the school kids, and a lot of their, we need volunteers for concessions. We have some adults that are grilling the hamburgers and hot dogs. We have some students that will be helping in the transportation right along with the shuttles and the bus to help people on and off at the location. So that's easier for them. And so there's probably, I would say probably about 12 of us volunteers that will be camping out there overnight for just like general security. And we've got participation from a car show group in Farnham that's going to help out with the car show, volunteering. There's 2 airplane groups that will be assisting in airplane parking and kind of security for specifically just for the airplanes. So we've kind of made it so us, I don't know, there's about 10 of us that have been coordinating this event, not giving us any specific job other than being a committee chair. There'll be people underneath that committee that will kind of be, in charge of assigning those specific duties.
Do you want to give a shout out to your committee?
Yes.
Who's all involved? That we're committee chairs that are involved.
Yeah, so me, Chantel, Lucas Johnson, Dave Lamb, Karen Morris, Justin Morris, Dawn Beans, Teresa Osborne, Stacy Darling, Bob Mann from Gothenburg, Mitch Helmuth from Cozad. So Bob Mann and Mitch have kind of been their committee chairs for the car show. That's I'm probably the most excited. It's been a long time since I've been to a car show, and they've done a lot of things. They've got I think COSA is gonna have a really good turnout for the car show. But there's a group that does the car show in Farnham. I've never been. She actually stopped in yesterday. Her and her husband they're gonna camp out there the whole weekend and volunteer. And she made a point to say, she's like, the first car show you have is usually the biggest one. So, and she said that she's heard a lot of great talk about participation for the car show. So that's really exciting, coming from somebody that knows nothing about a car show. So who else? I'm trying to think. I think I hit, that's pretty much the committee heads. So yeah.
Great. I'm gonna go out there. I think it sounds like a lot of fun too. So
Good job, lady.
I do want to point out too, on the sponsorship packages, one thing that I wanted to point out was if there was a family or a couple that was interested in coming 2 out of the 3 days, Friday and Saturday, one of the sponsorship packages, it's $250, and that gets you 2 tickets to the steak dinner, it gets you 2 tickets to the Sunday brunch, and free admission. That's part of the sponsorship package. You get extra general admission tickets, water bottles, and that's a pretty good.
so you're kind of like a VIP then.
We're really trying to promote that 250 because that has a really great value for, a couple or a small family, for the whole 3-day event, and it gets some on-site parking. So
That's a big one.
it's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a really big, right?
Well, I'd like to thank you so much for coming to talk about this. I think it's going to be a great thing for the community.
Yes.
So
I really hope
Lots of
that it turns out
opportunity.
good.
Me
Because it's
I do
awesome.
too.
It'd be a great thing if you could annualize it.
Yeah.
Which for all the work, you may not want to do it every year, but I am.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. Well, I just think, I guess the other people I want to thank too is, Cozad Alfalfa. So, Cozad Alfalfa is one of our sponsors, but they farm all the alfalfa around the airport for the Cozad Airport Authority. And so we really, anytime we have an event out there, the 4th of July for the 150th celebration, they're just always so accommodating. And that's a lot of work. And that's a lot to ask, somebody to, make sure your crop is harvested and picked up so we can have, all this fun out there. So John Montgomery's he's always been so wonderful to work with. So really him and his people to, be able to make that happen for anything is, really huge. So, and the Cozad Airport Authority, they're great to work with, and they've allowed us to do some things that I've never done out there before, the camping and, the beer garden, and we're really trying to, we do need some fencing, snow fence, cattle, that is, we're trying to create a big enough area around to, so that you can kind of walk around and look at things and have a beer, have a glass of wine. So you're not so confronted to, a small beer garden area.
You might check with the JCs because they have the cattle panels for Music Mondays. So they might be able to hook you up on that.
So where are you putting the panels?
So really,
Or how
so the
big?
airport we have 5 community hangars. 2 of them are closest to Highway 30, and that's where, they're 2 big buildings right across from each other. If you were at the air show, we had the steak dinner in one, and then the other one was open. The perimeter fencing is gonna go around all of those 5 community, buildings. I wish I had a picture, but I don't. We would have liked to extended it to include the area and on the grass and alfalfa where the car show is gonna be. But where we really don't know how, are we gonna have 40 cars? Are we gonna have, 80
Yeah.
cars? So, anything is possible. But I think, I'm trying to think what Luke said. Luke and Dave are kind of on that logistic committee for, and I want to say like 1,500 linear feet right now. Fencing, which we have a lot. But we were really hoping to be able to contain that car show area, because that would be,
They kind of keep us landed.
yeah, well, apparently people at car shows like to walk around have beer. So, so that,
Otherwise, there's gonna be like kind of guards, people watching over things.
well, yeah, there'll be,
It's nice you have people staying, camping out there.
The shuttle, is that gonna go all day till the end also? So people want to stay for the end of the band
yep.
and they'll get shuttled back into town, so if they need to walk home.
Yeah, so
They'll just
we,
work until everybody clears out, right?
yeah, and so we coordinated with the co-ed schools for their school buses.
Wow.
We've leased 2 shuttles, Price's Rental, Johnson Lake, and then, another company out of Lexington, Scott Kilburz, I think is his last name. We leased those 2 shuttles. And so, we're really hoping, the school buses taper off at, and these, the other 2 shuttles kind of manhandle the last 2 hours of the evening, hopefully is kind of our game plan, so.
Well, it sounds not only like it's gonna be a big thing for COSAC, but potentially for Dawson County.
Yeah.
So,
Great bubbles.
Thanks for taking it on.
yes.
Thanks for thinking of it, Chantel.
Chantel is, we're just trying to, she had a great vision, and I think we've done a good job of making it all just come to fruition.
You guys are doing awesome.
Thankful for Allison.
Okay,
I think I